You guys, this is wild. I woke up one night to the sound of metal scraping on pavement, like something straight out of a horror movie. And I could have sworn I was dreaming until I heard the chains rattling and my two Belgian Malinois, Thor and Loki, let out this low rumble that set my heart pounding in my chest. I jumped to the security monitor on my nightstand and saw two guys struggling with chains hooked around my baby, my 1969 Dodge Charger, spotless mint condition. And they had the nerve to wear flimsy uniforms that said HOA enforcement. That's right, they were posing as HOA cops, trying to steal my car. Now, let me tell you, those dogs are security trained. And they know when something's off. Their claws clicked on the hardwood as they shot out of the bedroom like missiles. I flicked on the porch lights and literally yanked the door open just in time to hear one of them yelp, "Holy dude, big dogs." Loki leapt toward the gate and Thor stalked forward like a wolf. Teeth. Muscle, authority. They both froze when I stepped out. I was breathing hard, adrenaline mode. "Let go of my car, or you'll regret it." One smirking guy stammered, "Sir, this is HOA mandated." I almost laughed. My classic car? An eyesore? These dummies wouldn't know value if it hit them. The other one, eyes wide, said, "We gotta tow it." I looked at them and said, "You have 5 seconds." Then I let the dogs do their thing. Loki growled low, Thor barked, and they backed off, hurriedly yanking chains and scrambling into a beat-up tow truck. Smoke billowed from the Charger as they sped off, tires screeching down the street. I sunk to the ground holding Loki's neck, shaking. This wasn't over. Police arrived. But without catching those dudes in action, nothing they could do except file a report. The officer warned, might be scam artists using fake HOA IDs. And I knew. This was Karen's doing. Karen was the HOA president, nitpicky queen of complaints, and I'd been her target since I moved in. This was no random mugging. It was theft dressed up as enforcement. Next morning, I drove over to her place. She lives in the ostentatious biggest house on the block. Perfect lawn, the whole show. I knocked. She opened with arms crossed, smirk ready. "Mr. Lopez." She said sweetly, "What a pleasure." I cut right to it. "You sent those guys to steal my Charger, didn't you?" She looked innocent. "We enforce standards. Your vehicle doesn't fit." Blinking like she believed it. I wasn't having it. Those weren't HOA tow operators. They were thieves. She shook off my claim. "That's your opinion." I dropped it. "I've got security footage and the cops." "Why don't you explain that to them, Karen?" She smirked again. "Feel free to bring it to the board." I walked away thinking, yeah, let's do that. It all blew up across the neighborhood. Text threads, group chats lighting up with outrage, defensive Karen posts, and finally you're doing something. Messages. I ignored most. But I knew they were watching, especially Karen's allies. I needed proof, and I called my friend Tom, ex-detective turned PI. He watched the footage and said, "These guys aren't amateurs." "That one? He's a known scammer, fraud, grand theft, HOA scam rings." Meaning this wasn't about my Charger. It was organized crime disguised as HOA action. We needed to catch them again. Next day I got a robocall. "Your vehicle is due for towing, pay the fine." I played along, asked, "Where do I send it?" They paused, said, "You'll be contacted." Boom. Exactly what we needed. So that night I left my Charger where I always do, swapped out visible cameras for decoys, installed hidden ones in the car and nearby trees. Even left the garage slightly ajar with a beat-up beater inside. At 12:30 a.m., the same tow truck rolled up. 2 guys got out, motioned toward the Charger. Before they could unhook it, Thor and Loki tore out of the yard. Loki got the driver's leg. Thor circled the other. Sirens shortly followed, and the guys could only cower. I stepped onto the porch. "Nice try, boys." HOA rejectors again. I heard one mutter, "We're following orders." I snapped. "Orders from Karen, right?" They wouldn't answer. Cops pulled up, cuffed them, this time caught red-handed. Morning after, the police served Karen herself. They came with a warrant and found truck payments traced to fake tow companies registered under her name, bank account records. Documents. Tony from the precinct said, "She's running a scam, serious charges coming." She looked petrified, shouting, "This isn't over." I leaned on the rail. Actually, it is. They loaded her into a squad car, and those malignant HOA days were over, at least for now. Sure enough, next week I got a letter from Richard Barnes, Karen's vice president, bland HOA letter. "Your grass is too tall, your mailbox color violation, vehicle clutter, Your classic charger is still non-compliant. I mean, seriously? They almost stole my car, and now they fine me for it? Their petty harassment went full bureaucratic. Instead of losing it, I got smart. I upgraded cameras to motion tracking, added floodlights, dummy cams, and under-frame GPS tracking on the charger. That night around 2 a.m., the security feed lit up, figure crawling toward the charger, outline clear in infrared. It was Richard. I slipped out with Thor and Loki, moved behind him with the dogs. One growl, two Malinois steps, guy froze, dropped his crowbar. I stepped into the light. Looking for trouble, Richard? He muttered, just checking after incidents. I replied, sure for the HOA? His guilty look told me everything. I said, leave now, or I'll share footage with the cops. He nodded, scurried off. But this time I knew the HOA weirdness wasn't gone. It was suppressed. So I beefed up defenses even more. Cameras, alarms, more floodlight. Thor and Loki stayed vigilant nights. Weeks later, beyond the calm, I got another plain white envelope. You'll regret this. No signature. A chill, but no panic. I showed Tom. He guessed Karen trying ghost control or someone else taking up her mantle. Could have been both. I added cameras to the garage lock. Left garage slightly open to lure next target. Sneaky payback was afoot. Sure enough, at 3 a.m. Richard ambled up to jimmy the lock. Loki slipped behind him. Thor growled. Richard dropped the crowbar, another smooth arrest caught on film. He sneered as cops cuffed him. You ruined everything, he hissed. I shrugged. You did, Richard. Finally, HOA cleaned house. Karen locked, Richard arrested. The board got restaffed. Stupid rules tossed. Some neighbors even had old fines refunded. We had a block party barbecue. Someone smuggled in a cake that read "Good Riddance" in red. The best petty justice I'd ever seen. Now, life's peaceful. My charger stays parked freely, no HOA trolls. No tow trucks in the night. Thor and Loki lounge in the yard, chasing each other for fun, not chasing thieves. I lean on my porch, crowbar and coffee in hand, thinking for how long? Because here's the truth I've learned. There's always another Karen waiting in the wings, ready to push boundaries until someone pushes back. And you bet when she, or someone like her, shows up again, I'll be ready. All right, now I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my shoes? Is it ever okay for an HOA to tow a car without warning? Have you ever dealt with ridiculous HOA overreach? Drop a comment below. Let's talk about who's right, who's wrong, and what justice really looks like in cases like this. And hey, if you think HOA boards should have more checks and balances, or if you just want to say go Thor and Loki, smash that like button, share your story. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life showdown tales. See you in the next one.